Hey, good afternoon, people. Good afternoon. How you all doing? This is Spirit Journey. Today's Tuesday, February 11th, 2025, and the time is, oops, what time is it? What? Let me see what time it is. I forget what time it is. I'm sorry, people. I should know what time. I love to know what time things are. Okay, wow, 3:01. It is 3:01 in the afternoon here in Rwanda. Let me move this over. Yeah, yes, good afternoon. Yeah, I have some questions. Um, I'm just watching, I have my monitor on the side over there, and it was discussing about South Africa. And in my description, I asked the question, is there any link or correlation between Elon Musk and Einstein? So, boy, was, Spirit Journey, what are you talking about? I just had some, they're presented certain information. Um, with South Africa, it was a country that was under apartheid for many years, and the Dutch had control over the land, and then Britain took control over it. And they had an apartheid system that separated extremely so between the races. Um, it's predominantly a black populace, and you have a white population that controlled South Africa, and you also have the mixed races that live there. And I'm listening to the news, and we have a fellow by the name of Elon Musk, excuse me, Elon Musk, who's living in America. He's actually from all these pop-ups on the screen. He's from South Africa. He's a white man from South Africa. He may be the richest person on the planet, they say. He has a lot of influence on a lot of things. And he was recently appointing a position in the current administration in America under the President Donald J. Trump. Now, yes, I voted for Trump, but I don't agree with everything or all the people that are closely associated with them. So I'm just putting that out there. Now, Elon Musk was given President Trump formed a position for Elon. Um, don't know understand it exactly, but he's to really dig up any waste in government spending. It's something about something called U.S. aid. Again, this is the first time I was hearing about this past week, U.S. aid. Never heard of it before. But allegedly, this government agency, U.S. aid, that is, um, allegedly um, misspending your money, tax money. Um, so it's interesting that Elon is given this position, being someone who's from the country. And it's not the first time people from other countries that have high positions in American government. Uh, not at all. It's not the first. But it's just food for thought. Um, it is that the current administration in South Africa are imposing on the farmers and allegedly is taking taking the land by force and or allegedly not reimbursing the farmers. Also to add that yes, hello, view. I just got disconnected. Okay. I have to be careful what words I say. See, read them. You talking and the analogs, they hear certain words and then they lock you out. Okay. So anyway, they're just saying. I'm sorry, I just got distracted there when the screen shut out. Um, I'm sorry. Yes, I was talking about South Africa and the land confiscation. Allegedly, the land is being confiscated. 70% of the farmland is owned by a particular minority race there. And, oh, what else about them? So, Elon Musk is of South Africa. He was born in South Africa during apartheid. Um, so, is argument is that really happening? I've talked briefly about South Africa in the past, a couple of years back. My thoughts about South Africa was South Africa was always a hot potato topic in the 1980s when I was a young adult. And people were boycotting any products that made in South Africa. And then in the 90s was at the late, I was in the military in the late 80s. And I remember looking at the news that they had in the military, um, and that discussions were being made about South Africa. And then eventually Mandela got freed from prison, and then there was a vote, and he becomes the president. I think was planned about. I think they knew in advance. It's just my feeling that with Mandela that they had him in prison, and yes, he got sick, physically sick while there. But I think that they knew they wanted to use him in future politics, and it's interesting that once apartheid officially ended and Mandela got into office, I think if anything was to be done regarding South Africa as it pertains to the history of the European invasion of South Africa against the indigenous people there, or I should say the African people of that land. You had the Zulu, you also had the, what's the name of the group? The Khoisans people, um, etc. Um, how were you going to navigate between all these people? Um, how do you handle something like that? Okay, I think that if you're going to deal with the original population, um, against in contrast, not again, in contrast with the Europeans. Now, if something was to be done, in my opinion, that it should have been done immediately upon the end of apartheid, Mandela coming in office. I think Mandela would have had sympathy, world sympathy, uh, if he decided to remove all the uh, Europeans from the country. I think people would. I think the bulk of the planet would have uh, allowed that to happen. And but that didn't happen. And when they didn't take that stance by allowing the whites to stay there, then you're indirectly saying that you're going to set them in the fold. That you're going to try to make uh, one country out of many groups. Um, so if you're going to confiscate land, at least the media is saying that they're taking land, but where they're being moved to. That I've never heard. If you're going to take the farmers' land, and again, 70% of the land, farmland, of the farmland is owned by whites. So is it a racial thing or it's a part of history? It's a part of history. Oh, yes, you had the whites had the political and financial control. And now you do not have apartheid, but the aftermath of apartheid, the people were allowed to keep the wealth. So why didn't Mandela um, take that position to take back the wealth from the European invaders of that land and benefit? That didn't happen. And you have a lot of poverty in South Africa of the blacks there. And I have met people whites from South Africa, and also mixed race from South Africa. Uh, it's interesting when you talk to people. And I met a white woman of but based on her surname, it was a Dutch surname. She left the country. She had a child, and she had a child. It was a teenager, and sent her to America to go to college there. Um, and she eventually followed, and she did artwork. That's how she supported herself. She drew for a living and sold her artworks in galleries, art galleries. Um, but she mentioned stories. And so for me, the story here about South Africa frightened me, frightened me about the type of things that were happening there. Again, that this person that I knew, I met her in 99. So it was just a couple of years after apartheid. I think apartheid, and, please correct me or not. Yeah, did apartheid end around 94? He came into office, Mandela came into office. When did apartheid officially end in South Africa? Please let me know, those of you who are history buffs. But it ended sometime, so I remember hearing her story of her living in South Africa, and there was a lot of physical violence, a lot of killings and stuff like that. It seemed like when apartheid ended, uh, the black population there started to do physical acts of violence. At least that's what was being um, told. Um, and it saddened me, and it made me feel very fearful of even wanting to visit a place like South Africa. Um, but yeah, I think if something was to be done regarding land, and it's easy to distinguish who is so-called uh, Black African or indigenous and who is a European or who is an Asian. Um, if something, in my opinion, if something was to be done like that in removing people, uh, to they should have removed them then, at that time, confiscate the land and their wealth and order them to leave the country. But that didn't happen. And so you're stuck with the problem, and you have to work it out. As it's, what's happening today, you have allegedly land that is being taken, and the farmers aren't being compensated for the land. Is that now, is that really happening, and why? After all these years, it's about, was it about 30 years, 30 plus years, apartheid ending. So are they just using the race card again with regard to, well, reverse discrimination now for South Africa? That is the question. What's motivating it about the farmers? And again, 70% farmers are white. Um, so what is the deal with that? And again, Elon Musk, one of the wealthiest people on the planet, just got a new job in America, the position being created for him, and he had President Trump's ear, and Trump um, is passed some type of thing. He signed some type of with some federal thing. You can just look at my doggy, make sure he's okay. You okay, baby? Just you want to go out again? Okay, sorry about that. It's my little doggy. Okay, so some type of law was passed. Um, Trump is stopping aid to South Africa, funding this AIDS program. S- like there's medicines that are being, I guess, sent to South Africa to treat the South Africans who have the HIV virus. Yeah, you very rarely hear about HIV and AIDS these days. But when you do hear it, it always seems to be associated with Black people, whether Blacks in America or in this case, Blacks in Africa slash South Africa. Um, so the the bill is basically saying um, you are um, South Africa is allegedly confiscating farmers' land and it's targeting white people. So the U.S. is going to stop giving aid to treat people with HIV in South Africa. Now, again, surprisingly, well, I should say not surprising, um, the it seems like the people that they're showing that have the AIDS, getting the treatment that the camera showed are all Black people. So it's really interesting about disparities of life. And so it's like twisting somebody's arm. Okay, thank you for the thumbs up. It's like, let me just hold my doggy. Want to go out there? We go out, yeah. He might, my doggy wants to go out. Let's just, okay, you could go out. Just gonna watch you. Can we go out? Yeah, I guess I can walk in. Yeah, you're up in your friends. You have to go? I'm sorry. Lavin, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? No, his eyes. I did his eyes. I cleaned his eyes today. Lavin, come back inside. You gotta go back. Come back. Come, baby. Lavin, don't do that. Come, come. Sorry about that. Yeah, when he has to go, I think he had to go. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize about that. Your doggy gotta go. He gotta go. Okay. Yes. So what was I saying now? So it's interesting. See, it's about you could influence people by withholding services. Sounds familiar? So Elon is from South Africa, and he just got a new job position uh, with the president of the U.S. Um, and all of now they're talking about South Africa and the white farmers there. That is, Elon is saying it's reverse discrimination against white people. Um, so the bill was passed, and the U.S. is going to withhold for 3 months, 90 days, that they will hold back treatment for HIV sufferers there. And it just seems like, according to what they're showing in the hospitals, who's treated for HIV and AIDS are Black people. So I was a nutrition major in America. Have my master's in nutrition. And in nutrition, in that program, you had to learn about diseases. And we had someone from the health department come and talk to us about AIDS and HIV, and how HIV and AIDS discriminates that you can have two people, uh, and based on race, two different races, one so-called black, one so-called white, and they do the same behaviors, sexual behaviors, but it discriminates the virus according to them. I'm not making this up. They're telling us this, our class, that it discriminates, and that blacks are get HIV at a higher rate than whites. It's harder for white people, according to the representatives of the health department in New York City, where I'm from, born and raised. Um, it's different. Blacks get at a higher rate than whites. You have HIV users, and you compare both groups, HIV users who are black and those who are white, and at a very, very significantly high rate that black people have it, and not the whites. It's harder for white people to get HIV. Just find it interesting. You have a disease. And I just ask myself these questions. And I remember in the 1980s when HIV was coming out, and by the early 90s, that's when it went mainstream in the media. And again, who primarily got the HIV? Well, initially, it was gay white men on the West Coast, and then the majority of the people that tend to get it were black people. So it's really interesting how a disease gets formed. It didn't exist before, or did it? I mean, I remember reading in National Geographic. National Geographic has a story about HIV. I think it's called the disease, what's that, disease chasers or disease, the people who investigate diseases of the past. And they found that the HIV virus, according to National Geographic's, boy, this was going back some time ago, but I remember reading it. I had a family member who had a subscription to National Geographic's, and there's a story about these diseases that were being investigated, and there was the HIV virus there. So who knows? But so how is it that you have an alleged virus, but it doesn't treat people the same way, and an overabundance of a particular racial slash ethnic group? That's in America. And then somehow you have the same virus in Africa and in South Africa. And again, South Africa was controlled by the British. The U.S. is also a country that was controlled by the 13 colonies were controlled by the British, formed and controlled by the British. Um, so the parallels. And again, HIV is, blacks in America have a higher rate than whites that have it. And in South Africa, somehow it jumped an ocean, this virus. And again, who has the bulk of it? And now that something with the farmland is being confiscated, um, and the people's ailments are now used against them. So the U.S., the current administration is saying, if we're going to stop giving you aid for this so-called life-saving drug, which treats your symptoms for HIV or AIDS, if you continue doing the alleged confiscating of property. And your recent hiree is Elon Musk, who's a white South African person. And that's always downplayed, that he's a white South African person. I don't know whether he has citizenship in America. I just assume he does. He has children here. Um, I mean, in America. So I don't know. So I asked myself in um, in watching this video on Donald Trump and South Africa, um, what are the parallels? Are there parallels, I should say, between Elon Musk and Einstein? Okay, who was Einstein? Okay, during World War II, before World War II started, there's a scientist named Albert Einstein, and he was a physicist. And he worked in the universities and started to get really bad in Germany in the 1930s because you had um, the Nazi Party. It gained control over that nation of Germany, and he was smart enough to leave. Okay, left Germany, and he started to work in America as a scientist, and he made a deal. Let's make a deal. Einstein made a deal with the U.S. government. Now, Einstein was a scientist, a physicist, and he made a deal with the American government. He said, "I'll help you make the atom boom boom. Okay, I'll help you make that if you give a Jewish homeland." Well, they took his offer, and the state of Israel was formed after the war, right after the war, okay? And I kind of think that all this is like a game of chess, people. And you already know the people who play the chess on multiple levels, they already know down the road what they're going to be asking for, you know? And you had migration of people of Eastern European ancestry going to the land of Palestine slash Canaan. Yeah, what they call kibbutzes. Yeah. And there were no terrorists, so-called terrorism like what we have today. And no one bothered these people that were going there on the kibbutz, forming a kibbutz, living and cultivating the land. No one bothered them. But when the country was formed overnight, that's when you had a problem. You had Europeans who invaded that land, who used religion to justify them taking that land and forming a state without even talking to the indigenous people who were living there for who knows how many thousands of years. Yes, you have different ethnic groups, people who there of different mixtures. You had the indigenous people, you had the people you had the Arabs that went there, you had people from Turkey, Iran, Europeans, you know, people from the Arabian Peninsula. You had all that. So it's a blend of people, and I guess, the religion that really shaped the identity of the people. And then you had a European invasion overnight, and they formed a homeland. So, so the point is that Einstein was facing a conflict in Germany, which forced him out. And then him making a deal with the US government. I said, hey, this is happening. Um, you give me a homeland, and I'll form this bomb. And why the US needed to create this bomb to use against Japanese people. Yes, it's funny how President Trump just had a meeting in America with the new president of Japan. It's like a love affair. It's something with countries, how here Japan was it bombed 3 or 4 times with an atom bomb. And after the war and everything, Japan was allowed to rebuild. They are a powerful country. They have a lot of technologies. They have abundance, people. And then I look at other countries in, let's say, Africa, and how you may have had a conflict in history between an invader and the indigenous people, but they're not given the same freedom to develop, to be a powerful nation of technologies and science and all that. And it's interesting if, because Japan, they're not European, but they're given, they revere the West, right? Japan is given so much, in my opinion, freedoms to be who they are, to be, to have their culture, their language, their religion, while other nations, after being invaded and trying to be free from them, they're not given the same allowances. Look at North Africa. They're not given, even though they might have oil up in North Africa, but they're not given the same type of freedom to be, to really develop, to be wealthy, you know? It's you just have to ask yourself questions. Who are these people? Who are the people who are, why is there a distinction between that some nations are allowed to develop while others are not? I ask myself that question. So again, getting back with Elon and Einstein, uh, Elon is using his new position and platform to influence um, government policies. And how is it going to affect the people of South Africa? Um, 3 months without aid could be a lot. I mean, just look at your own neighborhood. Let's say whatever what neighborhood you live in America, and someone's going to stop a particular aid or assistance to you for 3 months. What if they said 3 months, no import of food in your community? 3 months is a long time to stronghold somebody when you rely on certain things. And I start to wonder in this game of chess on multiple levels, 3D level, um, was HIV planted in certain communities, um, used as a bioweapon? Well, I mean, I just asked this question. Was it used as a bioweapon against future peoples that in the game of chance, they know down the line that they're going to maybe confiscate land, set up a certain policy, uh, and say, okay, you're going to do that. I know you're going to do that in the future. So I'm going to put a bioweapon on you and make you dependent on us. And if you get out of line, we're going to withhold certain treatment. And I think that's vicious to do that. When you withhold medical aid um, to stronghold somebody to yield to you, I think that I personally think that's evil. But again, why is South Africa doing what it's doing? Allegedly, them confiscating land. Uh, isn't South Africa, are they hedging on communism? Is it becoming more communist? I mean, I don't know. I've never been there. Uh, I wonder. I wonder, is that the fear? Or, it's like a tit for tat. Uh, they want to use the race card, but is it actually a system that it's not that, I mean, the majority of the people of the farmers there, the majority of them are white, but is that just an incidental? Is it that the country is formulating, um, uniting the, confiscating because of a one world government? And they have to do the one world government, in clusters around the world. And now you hear talk like, that something about Canada and Greenland to possibly make them a say. It's like they're throwing these thoughts in the air to see where it lands and to see if anyone said anything. They want to test the ground, it seems. Could be wrong. But that's what I feel. Oh, look at his face. Yeah. Yeah, my little boy, Lavin. I gotta show you him. Let me take this thing. I noticed he went with his tongue out now. Oops. Let me see. It's my little boy. Look at that little face. Look at him. My little baby. That's my little boy. It's my little lavender. Yeah, it started last year. Early last year, I noticed his tongue sticks out. He's quiet. Does anybody know why? I mean, that's his teeth. Hi, baby boy. Yes, Mama Bear is looking at you. We're talking about you. We wonder why your little tongue is out. His tongue is sticking out these days for a year now, since I came to Rwanda. Yeah, his health is still fragile. Um, I mean, he can walk. He's gained his weight. I made sure. Yeah, he loves his food, honey. He loves his food. So, yeah, I want him to eat because when he has to go to get medical care, just doing an overnighter, he lost over a half a pound. Yep, half a pound. That's a lot for a little dog. Okay, so I try to yes, my baby. You're my baby. Yeah, we love you. Mama Bear loves you. I love you, Lavender. Okay, yeah. Let me turn the camera back. Okay. Yeah, just want to get that. Yeah, I love my little boy. So, yeah, so what is the deal with this correlation? You have a man named Elon Musk. He's a man from South Africa, and he gets in a high position. Allegedly, considered one of the wealthiest people on the planet. And who is he really? This Elon Musk. I just get a bad feeling from him. Um, he reminds me of Gates, Bill Gates, the founder of Microsoft. I feel that they he comes to amiable, like Gay. He came across very you know um, harmless, but he's not. He's not. And Elon, yes, he's developed certain things. He started with a PayPal. Um, he started all these things, the electric cars, and now his space travel. You coming up here? Yeah, yeah, yeah. You bad boy. You little bad boy. You want a treat? I'll give you a treat later on. Yeah. So what is the deal, people? Yeah, that's my little. Look at my doggy. Yeah. So what is this? I feel like I'm being. I feel like the country's being set up. It's like it might introduce something very simple. Okay, Elon Musk, okay, he got the car and this and that, and then he came on Trump's side. But why do I feel that something is up? That's what I feel. Why? I mean, does he want to um, control South Africa? I mean, I don't know. Um, I mean, I don't know what to think out of it. So yeah, Elon is from South Africa, and he has the ear of President Trump, and Trump is imposing now a 3 months ban on, well, withholding medical treatment of AIDS, AIDS sufferers, the medicine. But when I was in that nutrition program, that master's program in nutrition in America, they talked about the so-called medicine for people who are suffering from HIV and AIDS. Um, it was allegedly killing people. They call it a cocktail. See how they market drugs, call it a cocktail. A lot of people do, they do the drugs and the alcohol together. And cocktail is a name for, slang term for uh, I shouldn't say slang, but a term meaning alcohol. And if you're an alcoholic or like to take alcohol, it's a great way to market this medicine. And who's going to be affected if they're going to withhold this treatment? Is this withholding the HIV medicine? Is it really to slap the hand of the manufacturers of this medicine? Is that really the issue? That you have companies who might create these synthetics and then push it on a population, and the money that they're getting, it could be made so simple, so inexpensive, but it's a lot of money. Is this really about shutting down these manufacturers? Like USAID. Remember at one time that the government bought like a screwdriver for several $100,000, or that toilet that was in the thousands of $1,000 by government contract. Is this what it's really about? Um, that you have somebody who's creating this drug, and yes, blacks are seen to be suffering from HIV and AIDS in South Africa higher than the white counterparts. And then you withhold the medicine. It's almost like with one stone. You're hurting the people who are prone to these to get infected with this disease, and then the drug manufacturer who are exploiting people's need for a drug to treat the diseases, and then say, hey, you're not going to make money off of these people. You know, it's ugly, isn't it? And that's why I say, I guess be careful whose money you receive, whose aid you receive, because it could be used against you. You get somebody, they come and knock on your door, that how they're willing to do something for you, but there might be something up their sleeve. Something might be up their sleeve, and they are exploiting it. Say, and you go, you're playing a game of chess, you're setting up things, and you know, you may not see where it's headed to. It might just seem very harmless, but as time comes on, all those factors that you saw happening around you, they're related, and it's being used against you. And I think that's what's happening, this 3D chess game being played. And it's hurting people. But it's all about control, whether it's controlling whites in South Africa, confiscating the land, or the blacks there in South Africa and withholding the drug cocktails to treat their symptoms. And again, AIDS discriminates according to the Department of Health in New York. It does not affect people the same way. You can do the same behaviors that consider high risk to get that type of sexual transmitted disease slash blood transferable disease, but it says that whites and blacks are the same. And yet, even though it didn't come from us, but we got it. Yeah, I think like the C19, uh, that thing that happened in 2020, created in a lab, and I think HIV was created in a lab, bioweapon. And then you have the people, the pharmaceuticals who want to profit and do ethnic cleansing, social cleansing of population groups. That's what I believe. Um, so what is their correlation? Um, let's see. So yeah, you had Einstein, and he was intelligent. Like Elon is very intelligent, and he knew how to. Einstein knew how to utilize his gifts of science for his will. Um, wow, is that something? I also wonder, what is Elon Musk's real background? I think that's another correlation. Mm. Yeah, they are from South. Elon is from South Africa, but his mother's background, a very exotic, Ashkenazi sounding name. That would be interesting. And people were saying that he was doing the Nazi salute. Now, I thought I was stretching it, but it sort of, there's things that there's very resemblance of the Nazi salute, um, but a little different. But either way, who is he really? Who's Elon Musk? What is he all about? What is his real ethnicity, heritage? A brilliant man in business, seemed to, just kind of came out of nowhere, and then boom. What are the what are they really about? What correlation? Elon and Einstein, both of European history, but one physically born in South Africa, and the other one born in Germany. Um, is there something deeper between the both brilliant men? Both allegedly have some type of what they call the spectrum, slash autism people. Is it is it is it a spectrum, or are these people selected at birth? Are they are they treated with the same environment slash science? Was science done upon these people to later be used for something else? You know what I mean? You understand what I'm getting at? When you start to compare individuals that have such great effect on a nation. Elon Musk, he, I know him for the Tesla. Um, there are people who develop cars that run by water, but we want to push electricity. And again, with the electrical, he positions himself in a very strategic way, Elon Musk, getting people, marketing his Tesla. And I know people who got a Tesla. It's supposed to be a big thing if you have a Tesla car. It's supposed to run really smooth. And but you have what they call the 15-minute cities that allegedly is trying to be formed in America slash Hawaii slash Maui, that had that big fire almost, going on 2 years. This year in August will make it 2 years of that big fire in Lahaina. And surprisingly, I used to live in that same town. I used to live in Maui, in Lahaina. I lived and or worked there for about 1.5 years. And the place that I live is rubble. All the jobs that I had on Front Street is rubble. Um, so allegedly that you have people who want to benefit off of that tragedy, And interesting that it seemed like anything blue, any blue roof, even blue garbage pails, it incinerate. Everything else, rubble. Cars melted. How does that happen in a regular fire, right? I don't think it's by design. I mean, I don't think it's chance, but by design, the fires in Maui, Lahaina, Maui, and California fires. I think they're all being uh, purposely done to move in the next phase of development in certain cities for whatever reason. Um, to set up these 15-minute cities, and you'll be dependent on these electric cars. Okay, so if that is the case, who dominates the electric car market? Now, there are other market people developing e-cars in Rwanda here, where I live. You have a dealership that is now promoting the e-cars, not Tesla, but some other manufacturer that set up a dealership here in Rwanda. Yeah, it looked like a nice car. It looked nice. Um, but they're pushing these electric cars, and electric cars require batteries, and these batteries can explode. I lived in New York City, born and raised there, and left there about 14 months ago. And what was happening there with the e-bikes, they were exploding. You have these, what do you call it, floods that happen, and New York City is surrounded by seawater, and seawater is very corrosive to those lithium batteries that these e-bikes utilize, and they could explode. And remember that movie that came out a year ago, December? Oh, what is that called? Obama had say in that movie. He oversaw the movie. What do you call it? He was, I forget that word, but they talked to him, got his advice regarding, you know, them making the movie. You know, the people who were making the movie asked his opinion regarding certain things. Um, so maybe it was like what do you call it, an executive producer or something like that of the movie. What's the name of that movie? I forget the name, but it came out a year ago, December. And what happened in that movie, that there were white Teslas, and they went renegade in that movie. Remember, go watch the movie. Yeah, I did see it twice. I was at my mom's place. I did watch it twice. It was a real freaky movie. It was weird, weird, weird. And but I think Hollywood gives you hints about what they know or what they want to promote. And so either way, Trump is in a high position now in the U.S. government. It's a position created for him. He manufactures a very uh, profitable company, Tesla. And he's I think he's the largest company that makes uh, e-cars, electrical cars. And so if it's pushed, these 15-minute cities requiring you to utilize an e-car or self-driven car, what do you call it? An automated car, a computerized car, it's going to tell you how far you can go, where you can go, and the electricity to charge these cars is only for a limited distance, right? So it's trapping you. They're using technology to seduce you, to woo you to accept it, and to say, oh, how chic, everything about the Tesla, some, pre pre 2020 was considered real bougie, real sophisticated, and a car for the rich. Um, so yeah, now if they force the 15-minute city, got Elon there promoting his cause. And then if he does, if they don't promote the EV, the electric cars, either way, he still has a market and he wins. It's a win-win for him, you know? So go figure. The correlation between Elon Musk and Einstein um, seems so eerily similar. Uh, Allegedly, all time. Well, I didn't mean to say all time. Is oh, what do you call it? The grid is already in place. That yeah, yeah. I was reading someone said the grid is already in place. Yeah, but it's just so many things, just correlations. They're using their intelligence and their technology to stronghold, and I think there's a multiple layer of chess that is being played, and they're playing it to the max. And again, they look innocent. I don't feel that. I perceive something sinister when you're in the inside. You're an insider, and be planning something many years in advance, maybe even generations in advance. And when that time comes, everybody's is in their position. It's like acting, you're making a movie and it's there to, yeah, I'm sorry, it's there to take over. So no matter whether you go left, right, up, down, they're in position, and it's a position to control. Wow, I don't like this. I don't like to see the correlation, you know, and to weaponize, um, to withhold drug treatment on someone with a disease. Um, I just think it's tacky. And it'll probably happen, and so it's using a strong arm to prevent South African government to take away the land of farmers. But okay, I mean, no one wants their land taken away. Um, and if the whites are to get their land taken away, it should have been, if it was to be done, if it was to be done, it should have been done in the very beginning when apartheid ended, because there were crimes against humanity upon the black and mixed race population there. And I think the world governments would have had compassion for the blacks and mixed race there of South Africa, and say, yeah, get them out of the country, right? But they didn't do that, and they didn't do that for a reason. They didn't do that for a reason. Why? I don't, see that when you don't act on something, it will later harm you. Just like in New York, when you're bringing in all these illegal aliens, it's going to harm you. And it's like, wow, we didn't handle this matter sooner, and now we're all suffering, And again, I think this is all by design. It's all by design. And so no matter how you slice it, you come out with peanuts. Um, yeah, it should be very interesting about people, what will happen in South Africa. Most likely, they will be stronghold and stop confiscating the land from the farmers. Um, but also, you have to, what you do to one people, you cannot allow it happen somewhere else. What about certain things that happen in America? Are people getting their land taken away? Like through the fires in Lahaina and California, are people, people strong arming them, the victims of the fire in California and Hawaii. Um, People need a place to live. Your mortgage doesn't stop because your house caught on fire, or your car payment, or your student loans, all things. The bills add up, and the people probably for also the insurance companies said, at least some of the insurance providers um, stop giving the, no longer are going to um, give them coverage. Excuse me. So how they supposed to rebuild? They might have been, in California, they might have been wealthy neighborhoods, but you need money. Some people may not have money, they've acquired things over the years, but you need money to rebuild, and things cost more, and so they're forced to leave their home. Okay. And you're going to have developers. They're going to create, in my opinion, their 15-minute cities to form a new society. And so they may not, maybe in South Africa, they're confiscating the land, but people can confiscate land through different means. Hey, did you pay your land tax? Okay. Hey, you didn't pay your land tax. Or they could create a system that high inflation and you can't pay your bills, you can't buy your food. You didn't pay your taxes. You did okay. We're gonna take your house. There's some places you might own the house, but you don't own the land on it, like in Hawaii. Yeah, the house. There are places where the what do you call the Native Hawaiians, they have a what they call a homestead. Did you know? Yeah, and I visited the homestead there. I had some friends that lived there. There's a homestead for them, for the Hawaiians. But they told me they do, it's not a nice piece of land either. It's not nice. It's very sandy, has these ants, and they eat up everything there. It's looked very unstable, the homes there. And they um they they own the house, but they don't own the land, and it's for 100 years. Okay, so after the 100 years, what's going to be a 15-minute city, most likely. You're going to have someone, they're going to develop it into its will, right? And where the Hawaiians going to live. They're going to do some serious ethnic cleansing via fires, taxes, and people will be forced to leave. Yep, and then you're going to get a new people. It's amazing how the people who have the money, it's like a shift in the it's a cultural shift of who are the new power brokers. Um, yeah, in the Americas, at least in North America, uh, they're, the new power brokers, economic power brokers, will be people from Asia. And no, this is not a rant against people from Asia. If you got the skill and the knowledge, and you uh, are frugal in your spending, and you educate yourself, and you follow the system, you probably do well. Um, they're allowed to do well. And Canada is now suffering, and New York City, where I'm from, I think they're still in the dark, New York City, but it's slowly changing. It's changing hands, America. Who's controlling it? But they're really quiet about it. I know this is controversial, and no, I'm not trying to promote hateism against any ethnic group, racial group, or national group. I'm just pointing out what people aren't noticing. Um, I see the writing on the wall, and you have people who they're the richest in the country. Also, they are the healthiest in the country, and they live the longest in the country. So you have three variables: richest, um, live the longest, and the healthiest. From Asia. and slowly they're being put in positions in mainstream American government and land ownership. And the older generations in America slash white people slash black people are being booted off, and I see that happening. Um, it's going to be it's it is going to hit the fan. Um, it makes me very sad. Um, and again, no, this is not a rant against certain peoples. Again, you have a right to live where you want to live. If you're coming through the front door with the right documents, it's not a sin to be intelligent or to have money. No, everybody wants money and wisdom and knowledge and truth, right? Um, but there's a shift that's happening, but they're quiet about it. And the only way how I know about some of these things is when I was, as I made mention, with my master's degree, I had to study different statistics about different groups as it pertains to their health. I was a nutrition major, and nutrition is about health. And so I had to study this. And I started seeing trends and things happening. And so that's where I'm coming from. And not about pointing and insulting groups. No, but I see the writing on the wall. And yeah, the things happening stealthily, and they have you distracted about different things. Um, yeah, you notice this. I didn't see the Super Bowl. I didn't see that. I understand it was on Sunday, and I don't like football, but I heard it was very symbolic, and it's about symbolism regarding the tearing of, splitting in half America. Yeah, these things, they know a lot of men in America love football, and that's American football. Um, but they use these subliminals to pass on a message, and is programming people to accept this demise that is predicted by some people. So yeah, you have again Elon in his new position. He is a developer of these Tesla, and now he's getting access to where the funding of U.S. tax dollars. But this YouTuber had mentioned, say, hey, Elon studying these, getting information about U.S. aid, and she mentioned that this YouTuber, is anyone going to um, investigate Tesla organization and the money that he allegedly is being paid by the U.S. government? So that would be interesting. Again, I trust him. I just something I don't trust about him. Even though he comes from very pleasant, but he has a lot of power and influence. Um, but just so because someone might be, you know, have his personality, whatever, doesn't mean that he's safe. And you don't become a billionaire because you're a good guy. You know how to play the game, and yeah, there are people that, you don't have to have a big mouth to be a power broker. Einstein, didn't have a big mouth, but he knew how to exert his power over the country. And he helped create the state of Israel. And a lot is happening now. Yeah. Oh, almost forgot. With that last note regarding Israel. I heard President Trump talk about if the if was that something isn't done by Saturday, if was a Hamas, if they don't do a particular thing, it was a warning. If something is not done by this coming Saturday, um, there's going to be big consequences happening. He didn't know what it was. It'd be really interesting. Um, yeah, very interesting. Things are happening very fast. And again, it's a multiple layer of chess being played. People are doing what they're doing, but eventually, I think they're going to find out. People going to, people's going to see what's happening behind the curtain. Um, I just hope for safety for everybody there in America and around the world. Peace and safety for all of us, and may the evil ones be exposed. May they be exposed. Okay. So I don't know anything else to say about this, but yeah, it's just life is happening, but you're happening too. The strength is in you. The power is in you. And they want to frighten us all. Whatever was going to happen is going to happen. I'm tired. I'm tired of all this crap. So, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this conversation. And again, I hope this video did not offend anybody. These are just my thoughts and opinion that what I think might be happening and the correlation between, oh, thank you. Thank you, Wake Up. Yeah, it's just my opinion what could be happening and the correlation between Elon Musk and Einstein, both men that considered geniuses in their day, and how they're using their influence to force their will. Elon is using Trump to protect the white South Africans, and Einstein had used his wisdom and knowledge in creating the A bomb to uh, get his will, which is a Jewish state. So I'm just I'm just saying, okay? So thank you again for watching, and you can write your comments below. Give your insights or things that I may not have considered. Oh, I see a pop up here. Look what it says. Oh, okay. Please wake up. Oh, please wake up. Saying, "Behold a pale horse." Let me forget. "Behold a pale horse," narrated by William Cooper. Uh, it's on YouTube. He has a. I'm sorry. He was a whistleblower, and they killed him. The book talks about where we are headed. He was spot on. Yes, I had that. I had his book. Yeah. Someone told me about him in 2001, and around 2004, 3 or 4, I purchased the book. I no longer have it. I got overwhelmed. Yes, take care and God bless you too. Please wake up, is saying. Thank you again. Peace, love, joy, and harmony to all of us on this planet. And may we all be able to see through the deceptions of the people who control behind the scenes. Please be safe. Yes, please be safe, all of you. Take care. And until next time, okay? Bye bye.